There's the elementary school where I went to school, Saltville Elementary. This parking lot right here is built on an old landfill, run up until the 1970s or so. Early 70s, I can remember looking out the window and watching it. Here's the Elizabeth Cemetery. It's old cannon right there. I think it used to sit out in town. This is the actual gravesite of Elizabeth, the little girl. I think she died in the 1700s. First person that was buried here. Kind of interesting markers here. But all really old ones. There's no names anymore. They're so old. R.B. Worthy, the high school I graduated from, is named after him. He worked at Olin, Matheson. Old stones, I wish he still had their names on them. Peaceful place. I love walking through here. Growing up, I used to come here and walk through it with my grandparents on the weekend. They tell me about people, friends and relatives that are here. Man, I wish I could do that one more time. I'm just going to video some of the interesting headstones that are in here. Every stone in here is important. I wish if they had a map of where all these stones are, we start some kind of a charity to get these markers replaced, at least the names of the people who were buried here. That's a good idea. Just some kind of little marker. Wouldn't have to be expensive. To me, a stone says, hey, I was here. I know a lot of people here. There's a lot that I probably just can't remember. My memory's failing on me as I age. That is awesome. Wooden tombstone of a tree. You see a lot of headstones in here of lambs. Usually means a baby or a young child. There's a lot in here. This is a gravestone of my grandmother, Mary Sue Smith Harris. She died on her 41st birthday. I never did get to meet her. My baby sister's buried beside her, but she don't have a marker. I wish she did. I wish I could afford to get her one. But if anybody wants to know, my kin people are such. When you come in here, you see this big old tree, big oak tree. It's covered in ivy. There's two double stones right up here shaped like arrowheads with Walker on them. Come straight from the road. Bear off to your right just a little bit. And you come right down to it. Great grandmother Donnie Bell Smith lived down on Henrytown Mountain. Her daughter, my grandmother's grave is just right down there. So they're close together. You see the little scarecrow sticking up somebody put up. Maybe just to mark and help them to see what was at. They're showing they missed her. Getting out of breath. Here's another one of those stones. It's woodsman's of the world. See down there's another one. A lot of these people came here worked at Olin Matheson, different parts of the country and the world. They belong to different organizations. According to the stones in this upper section up here, it seemed like a lot of people died at a relatively young age. You know, maybe around their 40s or so. A lot of them did. Civil War veteran. Well, that's a World War II veteran right there. And there's another one. They must have been brothers. This right here is a Civil War marker. Civil War veteran marker. Made out of cast iron. You can tell by the shape, but I don't know who it is. There's no inscription. That's an interesting stone. It's a millstone. Then down here it tells about them. John David Denny was a descendant of a long line of millers. His 4 sons followed in this profession. I walk this cemetery sometimes, not as often as I like to. I just like to come and let my kin folks and my friends know that I miss them. I still think about it. I used to walk through cemeteries with my grandmother, Ashley Harris, and my grandfather, Charles Harris Sr. And I guess from the time I was a little boy on, they taught me to respect for elders, The people you were related to and descended from are important, and they should be remembered. It's part of a stone. It's intricate. I don't know what that is. It's pretty. This is the front side of that stone. It's somebody died in 1941. I can't make the name out. But if you look, it's a homemade stone. The name, the date of birth, and the death are either written in what looks like nail heads or maybe drops of lead. Some people didn't have money for a tombstone or a big fancy one, and they just make one. Whenever I'm in a cemetery and I see flowers down, or like vases over there that have been blown over, I always try to fix them, put them back together. You know, at least stand them up. There you go. Edward Paris or Elizabeth Smith. He may have been kin to me. Bessie Smith, that sounds familiar. Robert Smith. There's a lot of Smiths and stuff around here. You just wonder if the wind really did knock those off. I'm gonna leave a whole lot of Smiths around Saltville. A lot of Harrises, Haydens by marriage. There's veterans buried here. Probably as far back at least as the Civil War. Maybe farther. And the baby. Maybe one of these days somebody will be videoing over top of me. If they knew me, I hope they have something kind to say. Well, maybe if they don't, at least they'll think about me. Come across sections of here with the babies, a lot of infants. More than likely it was a time in the past when, you know, some kind of sickness was going through, like smallpox or polio. Something like that. Had somebody's marker right there. It looks just like some kind of a groove stone. May have a name carved in it, but you can't tell anymore. One of the saddest markers in the whole cemetery. It's a man I knew when I was little, Sam Larry, his son, Sam Larry Jr. There's a real sad story behind this. I was told by my grandpa. He's this little boy. His daddy had a garage at the very beginning of McCrady's Gap, north above Saltville, on 91, on the river. And what way I remember, the drunk driver came through, and he had the garage there, and there was a wood stove in it. It was burning hot. The drunk driver ran out of the road and ran into the garage, into the inside of it, and pinned Sam's little boy against the wood stove and killed him. I'll remember that the rest of my life, being told about that. The boy's daddy, Sam, was good friends with my papa, Charles Harris. That is so sad. I visit his gravesite every time I come here. And here's his daddy, Sam. And his mother, Pearl. These good people. The curve at the bottom of McCrady's Gap, we always refer to it as Sam Larry's Curve. Right here is his grave. Everybody liked him. There's always a bunch down there talking to him. I remember going down there with my papa when I was a little boy. We just sat down there for a long time, just talk. There's a Korea veteran. You hear a lot about the Korean War, Korean veterans. Don't seem like World War II, U.S. Navy. I mean, the ship he was on, the ships he was on, I guess. What was that? These markers right here are Civil War markers. Yep, George Short. George Short, 1834. Yep, to 1916. Civil War veteran. There's two major battles fought here in Saltville over the salt works. So was James P. Allison. This man has a short iron, looks like an iron fence around. He must have been a man of importance. One like it, Old Matheson. Edward Mawson Davies. Another Civil War marker. It's getting dark. Wood marker of somebody named Katie Hess. You can tell she was cared about. That's a real pretty cedar marker. War marker. I'm mainly pointing these out because a lot of history went on in this town during the Civil War. Here's your old stones. It's getting too dark on me. The video. Civil War marker. James B. Walker, 1820, 1912. There's his wife. She passed away in 1894. Now here's the original part of the cemetery. Most of the stones are legible. They're just shards. There's stones sticking up out of the ground. See, there's one. You can't read it anymore. Let me bring you some paper up here and do some rubs and post them on a video. See, all these stones are literally just pieces of stone. This one here, cement wall around it. I can step over to get a little closer. Be no harm. Person passed away in 1890. Old stone. Rush Miller passed away in 1909. See all the old stones down there. Here's the original grave sites when it was first started. I don't think you can read any of them. But they're old. Be really interested to know who they were. See them all the way down through there. I plan on going to some other cemeteries. People I'm related to know there. Might do a few videos on it. Let my kids and such know where their relatives are. Here's some of the big stones here. Two obelisks. The ground shifted, they were tilting together. Stewarts, Cooks, Look at this one. Elizabeth Letcher Stewart. You can look her up on the internet. The widow of Archibald Stewart, Patrick County, Virginia. And there's Archibald Stewart. These are Stewarts. Alexander and Ellen Brown Stewart. Cars are going by while people are up here resting. Time marches on. Charles Carter. Margaret Carter, wife of Henry Stewart. Patience and resignation through much suffering ripened godliness. Charles Dale Carter. Well, I'm back to where I started again. There's my old truck. Betty, as I call her. Buckeye Street's over that way. Down there's the Nazarene Church. It's July 14th, 2016. This is the end of my little vlog. Here's the Saltville Elementary School.